What's up and welcome to Ingenuity. So since we're stalled out on the throttle body, and I very much need that to get that sorted for the wiring so we can't put the engine back in, I figure I might as well get started on the exhaust because we gotta keep this train moving, man. So I got the set of headers used off of Craigslist or Marketplace, one of those things, years ago. There was a lot of cleaning up to do. I did have to spend a little bit of time in the blasting cabinet to get these cleaned up. But one of the things that we were going to do before we get these actually wrapped, which is another thing that I'm going to show you how to do, is we are going to port match them for better exhaust flow. If you're wondering what the hell port matching is and what I'm even talking about, that is the act of where you're actually going to open up or lay back the area, the opening, or the exit of a port in a cylinder head, an intake manifold, throttle body, in this case a header flange, to maximize the amount of airflow through that port by minimizing the impedance of the airflow through the port, because from the factory all the ports, this is regards to manufacturer, are going to be sized smaller than the gasket. I'll show you what I'm talking about. You can still see the rings of the exhaust and where they were hitting the flange instead of going into the primary tube. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be opening up this area. We're just going to put a taper on it. We're not going to be like opening it up completely because we still need a sealing surface, but we're just going to be tapering it so it smooths that exhaust flow as it goes into the primary tube. And so when we're done porting these, we are going to be wrapping them. And actually, if any of you have been sticking around since the Explorer videos, you actually saw me actually ported the exhaust manifolds on the Explorer while I had it off. And yeah, I know it did nothing, but I have a problem. I admit it. It's a thing, whatever. Actually, if any of you have been around since the Explorer video and are watching these Becky videos, drop me a comment. I would love to know who you are. Thank you for supporting the channel. I think they're two completely different demographics. The channel's not quite big enough to tell me yet, but yeah, if we got some crossover, I'd love to know. And yeah, more importantly, thank you for watching. Now, I'm going to shut up and actually get some work done. Let's go. On second thought, I don't like how floppy this gasket is, and these bolts that I guess are too small. So I'm going to wait for the actual Grimspeed gaskets to show up. They'll be a much better fit. So in the meantime, we're going to be doing the same thing to the turbo. Alright, so there we go. We laid it back. We hit it with I hit it with a 80 grit and then a 120 grit. It's actually really smooth to the touch. And when we put our gasket on, now there is nothing stopping the exhaust from going from the up pipe right into the turbo and making all the choo-choo noises. So there you go. It's not that hard. Yes, it's time consuming. Yes, it takes a little bit of materials, but like those bits, the flap disc wheels, if you want to go, you can even get like port and polish kits off of Summit or Jegs or really any performance part supplier. I think even Auto Parts carry stuff like that to some extent. I mean, they're cheap. I mean, I'm talking like sub $50. You know, if you're just getting started, just start with the grinder bit and a die grinder that this guy I got from Harbor Freight. I want to say it's over 10 years ago. Yeah, it's been around forever. I think I picked it up for $30. It has ported everything from cylinder heads, intake manifolds. You saw me port the TGVs on this engine with that same thing. The exhaust, turbos. Yeah, that thing. The only thing that happened to it is the case split on it. So I glued it back together and then I put some gaff tape on it. That was it. But I mean, yeah, like that's a small investment. It doesn't take a lot. So if you want to get into it, yeah, just go for it. What's stopping you? So now We just have to wait for the Grimsby gaskets to get here so we can actually do the headers, which was supposed to be the point of this episode, not the turbo. Whatever, you got to do with what you have. So, and these days, seems like nothing arrives on time, if at all. So months, things used to be able to pick up in like a minute are now a month away. So whatever, is what it is. We're dealing with it. So turbo's done now. That's kind of cool. You can tell it's getting late because I'm rambling, but gaskets will be here tomorrow. So that's it for tonight. See you tomorrow.
Day 3.
Good morning and welcome back. Gaskets showed up. Finally got the delivery yesterday. So now we have the Grimsby manifold gaskets as well as the up pipe gasket. It's that 3-bolt design because these headers use that stupid 3-bolt design. It's a terrible. If you can get headers that don't have that 3-bolt design, do that because they suck to work on. But anyway, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? So yeah, so now that these are here, we can get these marked up, get them ported, get them wrapped, get them on the car. I still don't know where the throttle body is because I don't have tracking, but whatever. We're just doing stuff, and the heater won't shut off because it's like 17 degrees outside. So yeah, that's where we're at. I hope you're staying warm where you are. Yeah, so I'm gonna go do some work. I hadn't actually planned on doing the up pipe and the dump tube, but I had the extra material and I figured, why not? If you are going to wrap a flex joint like this one has, make sure your first round is a little loose. You're supposed to do headers as tight, the wrap as tight as you can. But what I found is if you do that first one just a little, now I'm not talking floppy, but just don't yank on it quite as hard. Get your mind out of the gutter. So don't pull it as tight when you're going around the flex joints. Leave it a little bit loose on that first wrap. Second time goes a little bit tighter, but yes, you do it that way, the flex joint still moves under the wrap. It doesn't, the wrap's not like locking the flex joint, and negating its existence. So now this is done, get them on the engine. We're still waiting on the throttle body, but we'll just keep going as far as we can and try to get something done. So let's get these on. And in case you're sitting there going, ah, dude, what is it talking about? That wasn't bad at all. That was super easy. Just wait. Sure, this bolt's fine, that bolt's fine, everything's great. It's this one. This is, like, look how tight that is. Like, you can get maybe a 10-degree swing on the wrench, going back and forth, just diddling away, getting that in. That is some Volkswagen shit. Now imagine doing that on the car. Alright, header's done, up pipe done, dump tube done, turbo done. Safe to say, the choo-choo side is ready to go. Hopefully by this time next week the throttle body's here and we can actually finish getting the engine put back together, but I guess time will tell. If not, we'll find something else to do. So, thanks as always for hanging out. Make sure to smash that thumbs up if you like this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. But as always, remember, sometimes on projects like this thing or whatever you're working on, you just need a little ingenuity. I will see you next time.